Hello everyone, so sorry for such a late video, especially the day of or the day before your exam. But I quickly wanted to do a little summary video on skewness before you go into your paper 2, if you get the chance to see it. And if you don't, still watch the video, like maybe you'll see if you got the question right, maybe you wouldn't. But you know what, I'm going to make this as quick as I possibly can, just so you get a rough idea of how skew works and you're able to answer some questions. So I've got a box plot here and the median is in the center, or imagine it's in the center. I would call this no skew. Skew is about the shape, and if the median's directly in the middle and it looks like symmetrical on both sides, no skew. Don't know, maybe symmetrical distribution, if you will. And if you're feeling fancy, normal distribution. And remember, your normal distribution is when your mean is approximately equal to your median, which is approximately equal to your mode. So no skew, symmetrical distribution, normal distribution, either or. Don't really care, do whatever you feel like, just one of those. This one is the median is more towards the left. So I would call this positive skew. Ignore my scruffy writing. I just want to make sure I get this video out to you guys. Positive skew is when your mean is greater than your median, which will make sense when you see the formula to calculate skew. Here, negative skew. And that is when your mean falls below your median. And the formula for skewness is 3 times your mean minus your median over your standard deviation. So obviously, if your mean is greater than your median, then this number will be positive, so you would have a positive skew. If your mean is less than your median, then this number would be negative, which is why you'd have negative skew. Okay. And same goes for any type of distribution. It doesn't have to be a box plot. If you had just like random distribution curves like this, I guess that's sort of normal. That wasn't how I was supposed to draw it, but normal or symmetrical or no skew. If I drew a distribution like that, that would be negative skew. And if I drew a distribution like this, that would be positive skew. And again, there's so many ways this can be drawn. It can be drawn as a box plot. It can be drawn just as a distribution curve. It can be drawn as a histogram. But you get the idea. More towards the left, positive. More towards the right, negative. In the center, symmetrical or no skew or normal distribution. Okay, let's look at some questions. Describe the shape of this distribution. Well, it's more towards the left where the peak is, so I would say positive skew. That's it. Right, we've got a box plot. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. Describe the skew of the distribution. Well, again, your median is more towards like the left side, so I would say positive skew. Cool. Describe the skew of the distribution. It's more towards the left. Positive skew. And then it says describe what information is given about the distribution by its skewness. 1 mark. So 1 point. Okay, what could you say to describe the skew in a nice enough way? I would say, what is the context? Some students were asked to draw a 5 centimeter long line without using a ruler. Well, here's the median. Here's the spread. There's more spread above the median. There's less spread below the median. So I would say something, I guess, like there is less spread of length of lines drawn below the median than above the median. And that just makes sense because look, there's not a lot of spread here. There's not a big gap. But there's a big gap over here. So yeah, that's what I would say. For 1 mark, that's all you really do need to say. Right, this question, calculate the skew. Well, skew, the formula is 3 mean minus median over standard deviation. So I would do 3 mean, so mean is 125, median is 130 over 25. I can clearly see already that my mean is less than my median. So I'm going to get a negative skew answer. So that gives me negative 0.6 for my skewness. Just interpret the answer to part B. Well, let's state the obvious. How many marks? 2 marks. Let's state the obvious. Negative skew. That would be a mark just for saying what the skew looks like. And then I would say, if you think about this, if you were to draw a box plot, what would negative skew look like? Let's draw a box plot. This might help for my next bit, which is going to be identical to what I said for the last question. Negative skew looks like this. Values above the median are less spread out than values below the median. But what's the context? So I could say, let me just say this. Values above the median are less spread than values below the median. And then if you wanted it in context, you'd use the context of the question, which is about the time each member of a group of 46 teenagers spent on social media during one day. So you would just talk about how there was less spread above the median of the time students spent on social media each day above the median than below the median. Okay, final question. So calculate the skew. We're going to use the formula 3 mean minus median over standard deviation. So 32 minus 29 over standard deviation 19.3, which gives me 0.4663. And now interpret the skew in context. Okay, well, we got positive skew. And if I were to draw a box plot, it would look like this. ish, something like that. So I would say what are we talking about? Age. Information about the age of people living in the UK. The age of people in UK is less spread below the median than above. That's really it. You're saying the same thing every single question. Every single question. Look, less spread here, below the median, more spread here. That's it. That's skew. Hope this helps.